Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. You are watching United TNT and this is Kaustubh. Today we are going to look at Michael Carrick's appointment as the new head coach of Manchester United for the end of the season. He was announced yesterday as the interim manager for the rest of the season. We will deep dive into his managerial career and achievements, his style of play, his predicted formation, what are the players that he might pick, and what can we expect with him for the remainder of the season. So sit back, relax, and comment on your thoughts of what you think about Michael Carrick being appointed as the interim coach for Manchester United. So, first reactions, how do you feel about Carrick being named as the caretaker manager or the interim head coach for the remainder of the season? There were a lot of names in the mix: Michael Carrick, Darren Fletcher to continue as the United head coach for the remainder of the season. But one thing was very clear that the United board wanted someone from the Manchester United heritage, the Manchester United club, the ex players who have played for the club or know the club inside out. I think that was pretty clear, and we did not hear any other name other than ex United players for this role. The list was short, the debate was less, and it was always discussion between one or two names that we were hearing again and again, especially Ole and Michael Carrick, right? Firstly, it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who was in the driving seat to get this job. He had told the United hierarchy about his inclination and desire to come back and manage United again. However, after rounds of discussion with both of these ex players, United felt more confident to give this opportunity and the task to lead the team to Carrick rather than Ole. Michael Carrick had been assistant manager to Jose Mourinho, not the assistant manager to Jose Mourinho, assistant manager to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he was also part of the Mourinho backroom staff. So he had spent good amount of time with Mourinho and Solskjaer, and that is where he was learning the art of managing as a manager for a football club. He was the brains behind the strategies, the formations during Ole for sure. Ole was more a man manager, and Carrick was the one who was deciding the tactics, the formations, the style of play, and then replicating it to what Ole wanted at the field from each player. Carrick had that pedigree. He had taken care of a lot of matches, seeing a lot of big managers how they play, and hence he was becoming the obvious choice for this United job. And at the end of it, that was a decision that the board made. Michael Carrick gets the job. He's our head coach for the remainder of the season. There has been mixed reactions to his appointment from players, staff, and the media. A lot of people in the media are supporting this decision, but the support is from a space that they did not think that Ole was the better candidate. So they are okay with Michael Carrick. And it's not like Carrick is the best guy that we had out there and we got him. It is from the other space that it's better that it is Carrick rather than Ole, right? And to some extent, I think it's fair as well because both of them are very naive managers, not managed a lot of clubs, does not have a big pedigree as a manager, right? So I get that skepticism, but from the viewpoint that we wanted an ex-player to be our coach for the remainder of the season, I think Michael Carrick fits a lot of those boxes. If it was Ole, I don't think I would be having a discussion that, oh, we missed out on Michael Carrick and this is the biggest mistake that we've made. I think the reaction would be same for Ole and for Michael as well, right? There is just hope that, oh, an ex Manchester United player will come in, get the lads a little confidence, cohesive in nature, and get the team rolling. And that is what all United fans across the world are thinking, that we hope this clicks and we get into the Champions League positions. There is no bitterness that, oh, why is it not Ole and why is it Carrick? I think all of us are okay with it. And I think all of us are thinking in similar lines as well, right? So, yeah, Michael Carrick named the United head coach. I think for his managerial career, though it has been short, he was the caretaker manager for Manchester United when Ole was sacked. He took care of 3 matches for United, out of which we won 2 of them. and we drew the third one. All three matches were tough for us. It was Arsenal home, Villarreal away, and Chelsea away. Arsenal home, we won 3-2. Ronaldo, Sancho scoring in that match, Fernandes scoring in that match. Villarreal away, we won that match again. That was in the Champions League last 16. Sancho and Ronaldo again on score sheets. And the third match, which was against Chelsea at the Bridge, we drew 1-1. Sancho scoring in that match again. So out of the three matches that he had managed for United, he won two and drew the third one. And all these three were tough matches. So he did a good job back then as a caretaker manager, but that is only for three matches. So we can't say a lot. His career at Middlesbrough was a good managerial stint. I think he managed around 136 games in total at Middlesbrough across 2.5 seasons. Out of those, he won around 63 matches, drew around 24, and lost around 49. His average points per game was around 1.58, roughly 1.6, which is way higher than what Amarim had in his tenure. The win percentage that Amarin had is around 32-33%, which is very high compared to what Carrick will be having here, right? So Carrick's win percentage would be around 48-50% roughly. So on that front, he has done well as a manager. He took the Middlesbrough team to the playoffs in the championship in one of the seasons, finished fourth or fifth, if I'm not wrong. So that was a very, very good rally for that club. Middlesbrough was struggling before Carrick had come in. He had a tumultuous end to his managerial career at Middlesbrough. But again, if we look at his career at entirety, I think he did a better job than a lot of managers do in their first managerial job at a club, right? So for him, the records, the stats are in his favor. And I think now when he manages Manchester United for the next 5 to 6 months is what will define his managerial journey going forward as well, right? So all in all, he is a good pick for us, I think, given the choices that we had. And let's hope that he gets it right for United in the next 4 to 5 months. Now, coming to the style of play that Carrick usually adopts, it's more 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 that he generally prefers. In the last three matches that he managed for United, two of those matches were a 4-2-3-1 formation, with the Chelsea match going to a 4-3-3 and at times going to a back three as well to counter what Chelsea was playing that day. So he's flexible with his formations. He prefers a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, and those two formations are interchangeable during matches as well. So that is a very clear indicator what we are going to see, how Carrick will have his team set up. At his time at Middlesbrough as well, his preferred position or formation was a 4-2-3-1, and it was evident throughout those matches. He likes to play aggressive football. He likes to play a controlled football. Given that he's a sitting midfielder himself, he understands how important it is for a team to control the game from the midfield. I'm hoping that he is the one who makes our midfield finally tick, be it Casemiro or Mainu, be it Mainu or Ugarte, or he wants to drop Fernandes in that pivot of a two. I feel his caliber and what he has done in that role will probably rub off on some of our players, and we might see a better hold on our midfield, a better control coming from our midfield in these games. The preferred formation will be a back four. There is no debate on that. How he wants to play with the rest of the six players that we will have is something that will depend on different matches, different team, how they line up, right? A two pivot or a single pivot is something that he will debate on. But I think this is the preferred formation for him. And that's the thing that we are going to see probably this weekend against City as well. He likes aggressive play. He likes controlled play from the midfield. He depends on a lot of wingers and the fullbacks to go up and down the pitch. He also urges the wingers to become as support fullbacks when the team is defending, so that backline of four becomes a backline of six in the defensive shape for the team, which is good. We're knowing that how fragile our defense is currently, right? So all in all, I think I'm excited to see how he feels his first team and how they perform on the pitch. I think the back four will keep on shuffling. The players that we have can be Shaw, Martinez, Delete, Maguire, Yoro, Haven, Dorgu, Dallo. These are the players that we have. I don't feel that he will stick to a back four. Knowing the injuries that we have, knowing the kind of players, performances that are happening currently with Yoro making a mistake in the last game, Haven making couple of mistakes in the last two games, right? So we need to shuffle Maguire finally back from his injury. So we might see a different kind of a back four lineup in the coming 3 to 6 matches. What I strongly believe is that he will make sure that Casemiro is a stable starter in our team going forward in one of those pivots in the midfield. I also feel that he will play Mainu or Ugarte with him there, and then making sure Fernandes in the sitting number 10 role alongside Cunha and Embuemo and Sheshko in the forward positions. And then we will have substitutions for Embuemo and Cunha as Mount and Ahmad, right? Sometimes for Fernandes, Mount, right? Lacey also in the picture, right? So the front three that we will have, or the front four that we will have a lot of rotations during matches. Zirkzee and Sheshko, Cunha and Embuemo with Ahmad, and Lacey, Fernandes with Mount. So I feel this is the preferred lineup of players that he will go with. However, I also have a slight inclination towards him playing Bruno alongside Casemiro in the sitting pivot. And why I say that is because our attacking prowess right now is phenomenal. And I feel the more players we can field on the pitch, the better chances we have to score goals. So I would want to see Fernandes, Ahmad, Cunha, Sheshko, all of them playing at the same time alongside Mason Mount as well, right? So what I feel is he should drop in Casemiro and Fernandes as the sitting two, which Amorim was also doing for a lot of games of ours, and then have Cunha as sitting number 10. On one of the flanks, he can have Embuemo, on the other, he can have Ahmad, and then Sheshko on top. And then we can have some substitutions powered by Mason Mount coming in for one of these players, Shea Lacey coming in from these players, Zirkzee coming in for these players. And that becomes a little more tougher and charismatic team to beat, right? So that is what I feel he should be doing. However, also depends on what kind of aggression or what kind of defensive play he wants to field against our opponent, right? Be it City, be it Arsenal, be it Fulham in the next 3 games. So that's what I feel. But in general, I would assume that he will have a pivot of two in Casemiro as the sitting midfielder alongside Maino or Ugarte. So yeah, that's my predicted lineup that Michael Carrick will have. The back four will chop and change with Martinez, Maguire, Shaw, Dorgu, Dallo, Delete, right? Yoro, Haven, all of them. Casemiro will be sitting pivot mostly all matches alongside a Mainu or a Ugarte. And then we will have Cunha, Fernandes, Mbeumo and Sheshko on top with substitutions like Mason Mount, Shea Lacey, Amad Diallo. However, I would still prefer Fernandes to drop deeper, give us more control and creativity from the bottom of the midfield with Cunha playing the number 10 and Mbeumo and Ahmad on either side of him. Up top with Sheshko, I think that would work brilliantly. So that's what I feel Carrick will float as his preferred choice. Let's see in the first match against City what he does. So, coming to the big question, what can we expect from this season and from Michael Carrick for the remainder of the season? I think a top 4 or a top 5 finish is what we are aiming for as a club. If we get into Champions League with Carrick at the helm, I think it will be a fab season for him, a job well done, and he will be amongst a lot of clubs looking for managers next season. He would have proven that he is a good manager where he took Manchester United out of the turmoil and finished in a Champions League spot. Is Champions League spot gettable? Yes. Looking at the table currently, we are sitting at the 7th position with 32 points. The gap with Liverpool, who's sitting at 4th position, is only 2 to 3 points. A lot can change over a good run of 5 to 10 games in the Premier League, and we can very well be finishing above Liverpool on the 4th spot. Dare I say the 3rd spot with Villa. but I would be satisfied if we are even ending at the fifth position, because that guarantees us Champions League place, given how the English teams are performing in the Champions League this year. Next year, we will have five teams coming from the Premier League, right? So that is something good. I don't want us to finish a sixth or a seventh and then start playing in the Europa League or the Conference League. Not the best competition for United to play in. A club like United should be playing in the Champions League year in, year out. And I think we have a very good chance this year with everything that has happened with the caretaker manager coming in, the players that we have let go off, like Rashford, Garnacho. All in all, if we finish the season in a Champions League spot, it will be a miracle and a very good thing for United, right? So that is my expectation. I feel Michael Carrick can take us there. He has a good backroom staff that he has gotten in. I think he's gotten the number two from Gareth Southgate's team as well as his assistant manager. So I think Johnny Evans is also part of his backroom staff. Steve Holland is his name, the second in command to Gareth Southgate, who has come in as the assistant manager, right? So he's got a good backroom staff. He has a good squad of players. There was no discussion about United squad being bad, which was sometimes a bone of contention during previous managers' tenure, like Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Eric Ten Hag, right? But I think this year the squad has been good. It is just the performances that have been underwhelming from them and the tactics from our previous manager as well. So all in all, I think looking at the Champions League spot should be a good season for us. I think we are very well placed currently with 20 games through in the season, only focusing on the Premier League now, sadly. But it might become a gilt-edged sword for us, and taking advantage of that will be very crucial and getting into the Champions League spot. So that is what I feel. I have no doubts that we can get Champions League positions this season. We should be aiming for that. Carrick has all the right tools right now. We will look into what kind of signings, if any, we will do this transfer window. However, I strongly feel that the big name signings that we want to do will only happen in the summer when there is a permanent manager that has been appointed. But I still feel I give it to Carrick to take us through to this Champions League places this season. He has been very calm, very composed in his first interview at Carrington as well, where he said that he's humbled to take up this job, but he also knows what it takes to be the manager of Manchester United, because he's seen greats like Sir Alex, Louis Van Gaal, David Moyes, worked with Jose Mourinho, worked with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's seen the bad side of the games as well, when Mourinho was fired, when Ole was fired. So he's seen all of that, and I think he knows what it takes to be the Manchester United manager. Again, one of the biggest clubs. The other big club that we have in this world, Real Madrid, have also sacked their manager Xabi Alonso just 6 months into the season, right? So it's not easy to run or become a manager of such a big club, right? And let's hope Carrick gets it right. So that's what I feel on Michael Carrick's appointment as the next head coach for United. Let me know if you think there is something else we can discuss, your viewpoints, something that you agree or do not agree with me in my views as well. Happy to have a chat on that. Till then, keep watching United TNT. And if you like the content I have been putting out, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. GGMU.